Welcome back to another video. I'm sitting here with my new mic, so I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully the audio is nice and crisp. Today I'm going to be talking about how to get over heartbreak, how to get over a relationship, essentially. And the reason this is going to be important is because, first of all, I think I want to talk about this since I went through this a few months ago, and I think it's pretty important for me to discuss it now because it's kind of fresh, if you will, and it's going to help you hopefully get over a breakup. And I want to speak in terms that everybody can really understand and that will apply to everybody. So as opposed to like specific types of breakups, I want to speak about relationships ending as a whole and how to really get past that. First of all, understand that people around you are going to be there to support you, right? So if you don't have a supportive community, the best thing to do is to find other people who are like you, either friends or groups, and be able to connect with them and to speak to them about what you're going through. Now, you want to make it clear to whoever you speak to that this decision, if you made the decision or if somebody else made the decision, is it. So we're not assuming here that you want to get back together with the other person or you're still fighting for the relationship. You're just basically trying to get over the relationship. Is you want to make it known to this person that the relationship is over. And the reason you want to make it known to your friend or your family member or to a group of people or whoever you're speaking to is because you don't want them to give you advice as to whether the relationship should continue or not, whether you should try to get back together with this person, whether you should reconsider. So you want to make it known that this is the outcome of the relationship. You have accepted that outcome and you're trying to basically heal and move forward. So you have to make it clear because otherwise you're going to get frustrated, annoyed. You're not going to want to speak to people. You're going to feel alienated. You're not going to feel heard if other people are giving you advice that is not relevant and counterproductive to what you're going through. So make it known to other people that the outcome of the relationship is this. So it's done and you're moving on and you're trying to basically heal and move forward. And you're going to hear different people say different things. People are going to give you advice. A lot of this advice is not going to really resonate that much because you're probably going to be going through a period of emotional processing. If you feel comfortable opening up with somebody, that's the best thing that you could possibly do. If not, you have to feel comfortable doing that with yourself. So getting you to a place where you're feeling emotions is actually very positive. The reason that's going to be very important is because it's going to allow you to properly process that breakup. A lot of people think, especially men, that the best thing to do after breakup is to either work a lot or to go out and to have sex with somebody else. Maybe that's females as well in this culture as well. I'm not exactly sure how they operate, but you don't want to do any of that. The reason you don't want to do that is because you want to fully understand why the relationship ended. What was your contribution to the reason it ended? What was the contribution from the other person as to why it ended? Be able to reconcile those two things, give yourself the power, take responsibility. Whether you are responsible or not is not really that important. You want to be able, because here's the thing, is that if the other person was completely toxic and you were so-called victimized in the relationship, and I spoke about this previously as far as how to heal trauma bonds, is you want to recognize your own patterns and what led you to that relationship so you don't repeat those patterns again in the future. So basically, what you're trying to do in this particular scenario of the relationship ending is number one, you're speaking to people in such a way where you're making it known to them, people that you trust, that this is the state of the relationship, and you're not planning on. You just want to get over the relationship, and they're going to give different advice from their own perspectives, and that's all well and good. Now, that advice typically is not going to land because you're going to feel probably very emotionally overwhelmed or shut down, and you're still going to be processing the breakup, especially if you love this person. And so the best thing to do in that particular case is to go to people or go to places, whether it's by yourself, doing things that allow you to feel. And the reason, going back to the point that I made just now, that you don't want to inundate yourself with work and busy work and keeping yourself busy too much. Like you still want to be reasonably productive and get the stuff done that you need to get done. That's fine. But you don't want to overwhelm yourself with that, because you're actually the freshness of the pain of the relationship is actually very important for you to process, because that's what's going to make you stronger and be better able and better. You're going to be more put together as a human being individually, and also better for your future partner, whoever that happens to be. So you want to make sure that you're allowing yourself to go through the experience of the memories, of thinking about all the good times, of all the bad times, thinking about what happened, why the relationship ended. You're allowing yourself to like feel all of these emotions, whether it's anger, whether it's resentment, whether it's sadness, whether it's desperation, whatever, despair. You want to be able to experience everything, because whatever you're feeling, you're healing, right? So in that particular case, what really helped me is that, so first of all, the way my relationship ended is, I think I spoke about this previously, but I ended the relationship with my ex, and there were various reasons, but fundamentally what I realized towards the end of the relationship is that we weren't really compatible. Like our values were not aligned. And it seemed like there were more problems as the relationship progressed. Like the serious conversations would happen more frequently, and there wouldn't be any resolution. And our values around resolving conflicts were not aligned. I wanted to talk a lot, communicate a lot, get it out under the surface, sit in the discomfort and be able to get it all out. And my ex was not about that. I don't know if she didn't have the tools, or what was the case, but there was a lot that happened in her past. So there was a lot of healing that needed to be done. And I said, the best thing that you need to do right now is you need to go through your healing process. You have to love yourself, potentially speak to a therapist, like deal with these issues that you're going through, because, clearly that there's a lot that needs to be sorted out. So, but again, I took responsibility. Like I was the one who continued to engage in the relationship. Now, so did she, but I can't really control her behavior. So I had to really focus on, how I contributed to the end of that relationship. So first thing is, make sure that you have people around you that you love, right? That care about you, that will talk to you and tell you things that probably are going to go in one ear, out the other, right? Same with me, because you're in this emotional space where you just want to be alone or process the breakup or whatever the case is. Now, if what's going to allow you to release emotions is if you can easily do that, then that's fine. If you require some kind of stimulus to do that, as far as like that emotional healing, for me it was music. That helps me a lot. Specific type of music really helps me. And just kind of like sitting there in silence, right? Just thinking about things, feeling things, understanding things. And it took a few months, right? It took a couple of months for me to fully get over the relationship. So, but again, like it was a few months of me not trying, right? So I was really making a really strong effort to really allow myself to go into the emotions, to go into the discomfort. So it's really about going into that discomfort and allowing yourself to process what you need to process. And you will come out the other side. It just may take some time. And the other point, as far as the logical point that I wanted to mention, that's on the emotional side. And on the logical side, once you feel ready, you want to start writing things down. You want to write things down as far as what didn't go wrong. I spoke about this in many previous videos. What were the red flags that you saw? What were the green flags? What are you looking for in the future? What are the things that you need to change, and how do you need to develop and grow as a person so that you don't repeat the same errors and you have a better relationship moving forward? Typically, all that stuff will happen naturally after the emotional processing. But if you think that you have to do that first, try to allow the emotional processing to happen beforehand, because then you're going to basically, you're going to enmesh these two things together, and you're not going to be able to separate what's what. Like you're going to start writing things down, but you're still emotional. So you're not really thinking that clearly. You want to let things settle, and you're going to have these moments of clarity as you're kind of like going through these emotions, moments of clarity, and allow yourself to sit through these moments of clarity. And if something comes up, if an insight arises, then you note it down, you write it down. And then you're going to start to transition slowly out of emotion into logic, right? So it's going to be very emotionally salient, very emotionally powerful, and then your logic is going to be here, right? You're not that logical. Same thing when we enter relationships. It's funny, right? The way we start relationships and end relationships is the same, high emotion, right? So high emotion, and then it's going to gradually shift the balance, but you're going to have to allow yourself to process whatever you need to process, and then you're gradually shifting the balance. It's not like you're shifting, you're allowing time to do this, but you're also sitting with yourself and meditating on things, speaking with your friends, allowing yourself to feel things either with them or in private, in silence, with music, with movies, whatever it takes for you to get over that relationship. And don't distract yourself too much. Like, you still do the stuff, but don't distract yourself. And if you start having sex with a bunch of people, you're screwing yourself, because you're training yourself that the attachment was not important for you to resolve, right? The breaking of that attachment was not important for you to resolve properly, because you're treating the other person, whether it's you're a man and you're having sex with a woman, or you're a woman having sex with a man, you're treating that relationship very casually. So it says a lot about the way you're training your mind, and the way you're training yourself to look at the world. Same thing I talked about in a previous video, as far as get clear on the type of relationship that you want. You can't want a long-term relationship and then engage in casual relationships. You can't do that, right? Your brain can't properly process those two worlds. You're picking one, because if you're saying that you want a long-term, but then you engage in casual relationships, you're just training yourself to behave casually. So you're creating patterns within yourself that will orient you towards the casual. So when the long-term thing pops up, either you're not going to be ready for it, you're going to rationalize your way out of it, you're not going to see it, it's not going to be available to you. These people are not going to be attracted to you because of your vibe, your energy. So these two things are not the same. You don't want to go around sleeping with people after you break up, right? You want to process that breakup first, and then you want to, re-engage. So yeah, and then the emotional part is going to quell a little bit as you process, and then you're going to become more logical, you're going to start thinking more, and then things are going to become more clear, you're going to put them in their place. But you want to make sure that you write things down, you speak them out loud, and you make a note of things. That way you're very clear on what went wrong and what you need to do, and what a good relationship looks like going forward, right? So you're appraising the relationship, what happened, why you entered it, why it ended, what was going on. So you're appraising beginning, middle, and end to get clear on that relationship and understand the why behind that. You're figuring out, what do I need to do, and then you're figuring out what a good relationship looks like. Now, those things can really happen in any order fundamentally, but you want those three pieces, right? The relationship as it ended, what you need to do, what a good relationship looks like going forward, and then that way your mind is clear and you're focused. That may take a few months, hopefully not longer than, and I think some relationships I've heard, they've taken, a year and a half plus, but sometimes it can take a long time. So I don't know how long it's going to take you, but that is the process. And you want to make sure that those components are in place. So anyway, hope that video was helpful. Hope this mic came through nice, loud, and clear. And that's it. If you have a comment, let me know. If you want me to cover a specific topic, leave a question. More than happy to answer that. If you agreed with me, disagreed with me, I'd love to hear from you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It always helps. And that's it for me. You could sub to my newsletter. And until next time, I'll see you soon.